Pesquiscore
Opa,
input.
opa, beleza?
Exibição
Uau.
Visar Pro
Ok.
296.
Beleza, galera? Mais um vídeo aqui no canal. Hoje,
290.
trazendo uma edição de um jogo muito, muito bom. Comigo me acompanha mi amor, María Natalia Gavilotti, que tuvo una viaje maravillosa la semana pasada, mi amor.
Sí, la verdad que fue agotador. Hola, buenas, buenas.
Antes de liberar aqui o evento e tentar traduzir para vocês aqui o evento, vamos. Deixa que ela conte um pouquinho da sua viagem, né, amor? Conta um pouquinho para o público maravilhoso que te acompanha.
Saludo para el público, saludo para todos. Hola, 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 hola. No sé si estamos de día, de noche, de tarde.
Estão de
Ya ni me
tarde.
acuerdo. Estamos de tarde, bueno. Como sea.
Às
Como
4
sea.
da tarde e alguns minutos.
Ok. Ok. Es que estoy bien, bien sorprendida por todas las cosas que he hecho últimamente. El viaje, los chicos, cómo se sonreían. Increíble, realmente me han conmovido muchísimo.
Hoje te vi, está sendo no dia 13 de setembro.
¿Cómo?
Esse vídeo está saindo no dia 13 de setembro.
¿El 3 de septiembre?
13.
13.
Sim.
Sí, el 13.
Então, tu te passaste, como dizem los puertorriqueños, cabrón.
Ah,
¿Verdad?
cabrón sería malo.
Não. Cabrón nesse sentido, bueno.
¿Qué hay el 13 de septiembre?
Não sei. Eu sei que este evento está sendo dia 13 de setembro no canal. E do YouTube. Estão gravando na Twitch. A plataforma. E lembrando, daqui a pouco, depois do Magic, temos Final Fantasy. E a Nath brigando com o telefone dela.
Sí, es que a veces se escucha bien, a veces no, entonces tengo que golpearlo.
Pobre telefone. Vai quebrar o telefone.
No se asuste, que no es un golpe fuerte.
Por que estou aproveitando para fazer alugar um pouquinho o vídeo aqui? Porque quero que, ademais de vocês saberem que a Nath voltou bem da viagem, e já foi liberada a pré-order no Magic Arena.
Iniciar janela. Pesquisar.
Aqui está shopping aqui para vocês. Verem aqui.
Recomendado. MTGA.
Entra aqui no Magic. Entra aqui no Magic Arena. A pré-order da edição do Spider-Man. E aqui está os preços da edição. Eu não vou fazer a pré-order neste vídeo. Por que não vou fazer nesse vídeo? Porque não sei. Sim. Então, vou fazer um vídeo dedicado para a pré-order. Nossa, vai ser da hora isso aqui. Isso aqui é a maestria. Aqui está o booster com alguns brindes, algumas fichinhas. E aqui está o booster que vem com um montão de coisa maravilhosa. Então, esse é. Eu iria fazer a pré-order da edição hoje, mas
296 Magic The Gathering registrado. Marvel's Spider-Man Debut Show
que eu preciso fazer umas coisas aqui antes de fazer a pré-order.
Pesquisar conta de usuário para Marquitos.
Mas eu não sei se eu vou fazer aqui no canal.
Vidjets 87 graus F
deixa eu ver
recomendado.
aqui. Alguma outra coisa. Deixa eu entrar aqui na arena,
MTGA.
só para mostrar uma coisa para vocês. A minha missão do dia, vocês já viram aqui, né? Só que se você no dia 13 já está avançado. Aí tá. Então, aqui eu vou fazer então o seguinte. Vamos fazer a pré-order. Sim, eu não ia fazer, mas eu vou fazer. Junto com a edição do médico, vamos lá. Aqui está a primeira, que é a maestria. Eu não ia fazer, mas vou fazer. Porque eu preciso dessa maestria para ter a pré-order com a edição completa. Foi a primeira. Eu vou botar isso aqui como capa principal. Já fiz a pré-order da maestria. Agora vamos fazer o segundo booster. Lembrando, eu ia fazer isso aqui separado do evento, mas como estamos falando da edição do Spider-Man, por que não fazer a edição, a pré-order também da edição do Spider-Man, do Homem de Ovo, não, do Homem de Ovo, da edição. Então aí tá, se vocês verem a tela aí, vai ter um probleminha aqui para você. Não tá indo este pacote. Tá dando um problema no pacote. Mas vamos para o último pacote, que é o 50 doletas. Esse ele vai. Eu vou tentar pegar ele aqui também. Já peguei, ó, 2 dos 3 pacotes. E eu vou pôr este aqui como capa. Então me falta aqui para completar. Só me falta um pacotinho. Então a edição do Spider-Man. A pré-order está indo. Deixa eu ver aqui. Uma coisa a mais. Deixa eu ver aqui. Os pacotes. Aqui tá. Eu vou pegar aqui. Aqui tá. Todos os pacotes já foram. Deixa eu ver se já foram. Certificar. Gema. Estou fazendo, alongando esse capítulo do médico por uma razão óbvia. Como é curto, 50 minutos. Já faço a compra da edição do médico de uma vez por toda. Do Spider-Man. Vamos ver como ficou aqui a nossa pré-ordem. Então, todas aqui as pré-ordens completas, 3 pacotes. Então, aqui estamos assim, ó. Ai, caramba. Aqui, esse aqui não. Pô a Nath aqui no meio do pacote. Aí. Aí, Nath, ajuda aqui no pacote. Aí tá. Então temos Golden Packs. Então aqui temos 1, 2, Ó, 1, 2 e 3 pacotes. Lança. Aqui diz 23 de setembro. Numa terça-feira. Então temos um pacote. 2 e 3. Deixa eu ver. Maestria. Conseguimos fazer também a pré-ordem aqui, esse vídeo. Vamos falar do Magic, né? Por que não fazer a pré-ordem da edição? Então agora vamos lá pro evento. Quer dizer algo mais, amor, antes de continuar com o evento?
296, Magic, The Gathering registrado, Marvel's Spider-Man.
Okay. Então vamos continuar aqui com o evento. Vamos estar escutando minha voz linda para acabar cantar.
Player de vídeo do
Vamos seguir.
YouTube, tela cheia
Começando.
clicável.
E Arena, começando agora.
Oh, what a fantastic crowd already. I am so excited. I am bursting with excitement to be here today.
Combinou, né, com o vídeo,
the
né, também.
debut
A
panel
pré-ordem da edição.
for Magic the Gathering's next set, Marvel Spider-Man. Let's hear it. Who here in the audience is a Spider-Man fan?
Eu sou.
All right, I want to get a sense of the mix here. Who here is a Magic the Gathering fan? There we go. And who likes both? Well, that's me too. I'm your host, Blake Rasmussen, and this is a dream for me because my first love when I was 13 was Magic the Gathering. But my second love, not too long after that, was comic books. I was working in a bookstore and I discovered comic books. I could read
trabalhando na
title
loja
one during my
de-
break and then move on and come
de
back and pick up
livrinhos,
the next
de
issue next
quadrinhos.
time it came around. But what really cemented me as a comic book fan was Spider-Man. To be more specific, Ultimate Spider-Man. Bendis' run, yep. So the original Ultimate Universe, I got hooked when, like 20 plus year spoiler alert, when they actually killed Ultimate Peter Parker and brought on Miles Morales. Yep, Miles Morales, still one of my favorite comic book moments of all times is when he saved the multiverse with a hamburger to the Molecule Man. Just absolute peak. But now that I'm a little older and a dad, I have cosplayed as Peter B. Parker. I am currently reading the new run of Ultimate Spider-Man. Issue 20 just came out this week. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Fantastic rendition. But
Novo quadrinho
that
essa semana
really
do.
is the magic of Spider-Man. Everyone here can see themselves somewhere in the Spider-Verse. And so we at Wizards of the Coast, we really hope that we have done that magic justice. And so today, we're going to show you a bit from the set. We're going to talk a lot about mechanics. We're going to show you some heroes. We're going to show you a lot of villains. This show's villain heavy. If you love the foes of Spider-Man, we have a lot of them. We're going to show
Aí,
you
lembrando,
we're going to show you like really cool
dia 23
characteristics
começa a nova
of
edição
Spider-Man's
e
New
estaremos
York, all
trazendo
of
aqui no
that stuff.
canal
And we hope we do
todas as
it justice.
missões.
But to do that, I have some friends of mine from Wizards of the Coast
Também.
who are going to come out here. Now, if you've seen us do a panel before, we're going to do it a little bit different. Normally, we bring everyone out here and everybody kind of talks through their thing, but we're going to be
Só
coming
que eu vou fazer o
going.
seguinte, vou
People
gravar
are gonna come
ela,
on, they're going to go off. Some will even come back on.
só que não vou soltar ela.
But we're going to talk through all of the amazing
Nunca Talk Game
highlights
Show.
of this set as we
Vou deixar ela
kick off the
gravada.
previous season. So, to
Se
do
terminar a
that,
Talk
let's start
Game
with
Show,
someone
soltarei
familiar to
ela
all of you Magic
inteira
fans
no
out here.
canal.
Let's bring out head
No
designer
horário do Talk Game
Mark
Show, no mesmo horário.
Rosewater. All right, welcome, Mark. Have a seat. Oh, all right.
Okay.
Well, Mark,
Thank you.
I already know you, but why don't you give us a little introduction and also tell us a little bit, you know, I give my Spider-Man story. I kind of want to hear yours.
Sure. Okay. Well, this October is my 30th anniversary at Wizards of the Coast, working on Magic. And since 2003, I've been head designer, but that's Magic. Let's talk Spider-Man. So when I was a
30
little kid, I
anos
remember
na
I woke
empresa.
up one day, my dad had bought comics from the local store, and he just left them for me to find when he woke up. One of those was a Spider-Man comic, and it started a lifelong love of comics. In fact, when we began doing Universes Beyond, the thing I was most excited about is one day, maybe we would do Marvel. And so the fact that we got to make Marvel Magic has been so exciting.
All right, so beside your boyhood dream, what is it about comic books and Spider-Man that makes it such a good fit for Magic?
So one of the things when we're making a Magic card, we want to make a card that really speaks out and does something and is dramatic and has some really cool effect. Well, Marvel's full of superheroes that have amazing powers and are literally drawn to look as cool as they could look. Like, you know, comics are a visual medium. So, like, it was like tailor-made to make cool Magic cards. And you guys are going to see today, like, the cards really, like, you see the characters, like, oh, I know what I'm doing. The cards kind of speak for themselves because the characters are so three-dimensional, have such cool ideas, and then they just make really fun Magic cards.
So let's jump into letting the characters speak for themselves. Mark, where do you want to go first? What character do you want to see first?
Okay, so at San Diego Comic-Con, we showed off the double-face cards. We, for the first time ever, had cards that were both modal and they transform. And we showed off Peter Parker and Spider-Man and Miles and Gwen, but we didn't show off any villains. So our first card up today is a reporter, I believe, from the Daily Bugle, who has a beef with Peter Parker.
Let's take a look at Eddie Brock.
¿Qué?
Son 3
All right,
cartas en
tell us a
uma.
little bit about Eddie Brock here, Mark.
So Eddie
Wow.
Brock, he was not a fan of Peter Parker. A little bit, things didn't quite go his
Va a
way.
ser
And
complicado jugar
he
con esa
was kind of
carta.
really mad at Peter. And it turns out that there's this symbiote from across the galaxy that had a beef with Spider-Man. And the two came together.
Was
So
Meow,
they
como dicen
learned they
las-
had a shared enemy among them. And they obviously became Venom.
Venom. All right, so we see here the front side, Eddie
Pues
Brock.
miró
Let's take a look
Venom.
at Venom Lethal Protector. Mark, tell us about this card.
Meu Deus.
So one of the fun things, and like I said, in doing cards,
Que
is we get a sort
delícia
of
esse
cap on
carta.
it. And
Que
Venom is just such a
poderosa.
fun, lovable character. We did do something really cool here, by the way. So Venom obviously started as a
Enfrentar, ela
villain.
não quer
He got his
enfrentar,
own
não.
comic for a while. He was a hero. He kind of goes back and forth between being hero and villain. So in Marvel, we do a lot of typo with hero and villain. So he got to be both a hero and a villain. So your hero deck can play him, and your villain deck can play him.
Okay. Well, I promised the fans villains.
Yes.
This delivers a bit. It
Yes.
delivers a bit, but I want to go deep into the villainy
Okay.
of the Spider-Verse. So let's behold the Sinister Six next.
Okay, so in the very first annual of Spider-Man, they were trying to come up with what is cooler than Spider-Man fighting a supervillain, and the answer was 6 supervillains.
I love that they jumped right to 6.
Seis
Right to 6.
vilões.
And so the Sinister Six has been, a lot of different people have been in the Sinister Six. You'll see in the art, this is the
Você não
original
conhece esse
Sinister
vilão aí,
Six
não?
that appeared in that first Spider-Man annual. And what better, it's a card that actually references 6 creatures. It reanimates 6 different creatures. This
¿Qué?
is a teaser for those that
Essa carta
don't
faz
teaser on
6
Spider-Man.
criaturas.
So anyway, this is make a deck with a lot of villains, put them in your graveyard, and then bring them back.
And we're going to show you those villains. So we're not just throwing this art up here so that you can
Acá te
imagine
levantar
what these
cemitério.
six are gonna be like. We're going to show you each of these villains. Now, we are going to start with one you might have already seen because we previously
Yes.
Traz
revealed it.
cara que
But
morreram
he's also the
do
leader
cemitério.
of the original.
The leader of the originals, yes.
So let's see Dr. Octopus.
Okay, so we did show this off at San Diego Comic-Con. You'll notice that he helps villains. He's a villain typo card, and that's because he is the leader. He put together the original Sinister Six, and Doc. I mean, how can you not do Doc Ock? Doc Ock is such a fun villain. He has a little 8 theme in his card, and obviously, since he controls villains, you want other villains for your deck.
Yeah, like let's
Quatro,
see,
oito.
Vulture
Wow.
Sting Scavenger.
Okay, so this is Adrian Toomes, who is an inventor. He invented himself a pair of wings, started robbing people.
Ambos lados
He ended up
são
becoming
iguais
the
as
foe of
cartas dos
Spider-Man.
vilões.
No, I will point out, you notice he is hybrid. So we're going to introduce, there's a new draft we're going to talk about a little bit later. And in order to help facilitate that, there's more hybrid in the set. And so you'll see a bunch of hybrid cards today. And that really helps sort of, it helps make the limited work better. So this is a good example of some of the hybrid stuff you'll be seeing.
All right, next up we have one of my favorite villains. We're going to see my favorite villain later in this presentation, but one of my favorite villains in this one, Mysterio, Master of Illusion.
Oh, yes. So Mysterio, basically his shtick is
Mestre da
he makes
ilusão.
illusions, and Spider-Man never knows what's real and what's not. So we made a fun design with him where he literally makes illusions.
Vai ser chato
So
isso aí.
like I said, a lot of the design, it's not hard. It's like, oh, what does he do? And they really sort of, they lend themselves to cool designs.
Yeah, and I love that this one, it scales again with the number of villains you have for your villain deck.
Yeah, you'll notice also as well, the Vulture also had some villain types. So the villains all work together.
Yep. All right, let's see our next villain. We've got Sandman. With one of the greatest creature types.
Sandman.
Shifting Scoundrel.
Yes, good old Flint Marko. So he is he had an accident. He got turned into living sand. He can turn himself into any shape he can think up. And you'll notice, right, he has a sand creature type. So in Legends, back in 1994, there was a card that made sand warrior tokens. And we've had sand on a couple tokens, but we've never actually had it on a card before. But Sandman, how can you not make Sandman sand? So for the very first time, we had a sand. This is another
elemental villain.
Yeah, this is another card I teased in my teaser that people figured out. So.
All right, 4 of the 6 down. Let's take a look at number 5, Electro Assaulting Battery.
Oh my God!
Harnesses the power of electricity. A shocking villain, if you will. And we did a lot of fun stuff. There's this neat thing. Red mana, because we're trying to represent electricity. So he's a very fun card to play.
All right, and then my favorite card of this bunch, Kraven the Hunter.
Okay, so Kraven was a hunter that was so good, he grew bored of hunting. And he goes, I need to hunt more exciting things. And what is the hardest thing to hunt? The most dangerous animal? Man. And so he starts hunting Spider-Man. And you'll see on his card, like he cares about how big the creature is. That really fits in the essence of who Kraven is as a character.
Only the biggest game for Kraven the Hunter. Now, we've gone through the 6, but we're not quite done with the Sinister 6 because we also wanted to show off a promo card of Behold the Sinister 6. You can see it here. This is a promo version. Mark, why don't you tell the audience how they get this card?
There's 2 ways to get it.
Okay.
One is in the atrium every day, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, there's going to be a photo opportunity, and that you can get it there.
Yep.
The second way to get it is to be sitting in this audience right now.
Don't leave without one. We've got this card for everyone in the audience. All right. So, but if you somehow do miss it, again, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, starting at 3:32 in the atrium photo opportunity. Okay. Well, we're not done with Mark, but we're kind of done with him for now. So we're going to let you go, and we are going to bring out J-Dean Parents. Come on out, J-Dean. Come on out. Welcome.
Então sai 2 semanas antes desse evento, hein?
All right, so J-Dean, tell us about yourself. Tell us about all that jazz.
Yeah, I am J-Dean Parents. I am the play design lead for Magic, which means I work on cards.
E em breve, depois dos eventos, vou trazer para vocês tutorial.
I kind of got to Marvel a little bit later than most of my colleagues. I was introduced to the characters and plot lines for the first time with the movies while I was in college. And then I got to dive so much deeper while working on this set. And I'm really kind of kicking myself for not finding it sooner because honestly, I would have loved this as a teenager. And I'm so excited to get to share some of the mechanics with the set with you today.
Yeah, we're going to talk mechanics in this section. Where would you like to start, JD?
Can you pull up Spider-Man India, please?
That's not Spider-Man
India.
Let's see.
One more.
Almost.
All right.
India with that web-slinging ability.
Yeah, so one of the great things about doing a set all about Spider-Man was getting to make cards for so many different spider heroes and kind of show off the whole breadth of the Spider-Verse. And one of the things we knew we were going to want to do was have a mechanic to represent Spider-Man's webs. As far as superpowers go, the webs of Spider-Man are so unique and just kind of used in so many different ways by Spider-Man, whether it's transportation around the city, rescuing a bystander, or even in combat, kind of restraining the enemy a little bit. And we knew we needed to make a mechanic for this that we could put on many different spider heroes that would kind of capture all of the different ways that Spider-Man uses the webs. So the web slinging ability is an alternative cast to casting a card. it has a different mana cost, almost always cheaper, and you can use that ability and cast it for that cost if you also return a tap creature
como se fosse
you
a página web
control,
do
to your
Spider-Man.
hand. So
E
you're getting
poderá
it early,
usar para
representing some of
diminuir o
that
custo
mobility,
das outras cartas.
of the webs, and at the same time you're picking up a creature of yours, using the webs to transport it back to your hand, where maybe it'll be a little bit safer, and then you'll be able to reuse it.
Pode mandar
get any
a carta de volta para tua mão.
have, or the set is chock full of different ways to benefit from having more creatures to play. If you take a look at the second line on Spider-Man India, you can see such an effect, a little cast trigger for creature spells that'll benefit you for recasting the thing you just put back in your hand.
All right, for our next mechanic, I want to go
Combinou a pre-order da edição
Costume Closet. Let's pull up the next card.
com o evento.
Yes, the Costume Closet here is featuring the Modified mechanic. Modified is a returning mechanic. We've used it before.
Essa é uma mecânica que já usaram antigamente e estão trazendo ela de volta.
Considered modified. And we have cards in the set that benefit you for having creatures. It represents all the different ways in the world of Spider-Man to kind of get a boost from having the right gear or to have some technology aiding you. I really love the costume closet here. It's such a great depiction of all of the different suits and just this idea that you can continually get some boosts.
Yeah.
Right,
we've had two very hero-focused cards in a row, which makes me a little ill. So we're gonna move back to villainy. And in fact, we are going to go maybe Spider-Man's greatest villain. Let's take a look at Norman Osborn.
Yeah, so there is a lot on this card. This is one of the transforming modal double face cards that we've brought you before and you've seen. Norman Osborn here, the front side of this card is using the Connive mechanic. Connive is another one of the returning mechanics in this set. It is representing the plotting behind the scenes nature of villainy in the Spider-Man world. So, you know, while Peter Parker is out in the world doing civilian stuff, the villain are out on the scene planning, and you as the player will get to plot some too when you're using these villain cards. The Connive mechanic allows you and the creature that's performing the action, you draw a card, then discard a card. If you discard a non-land card this way, you'll put a +1/+1 counter on the creature. So you as the player are going to sculpt your hand, get your plans in motion and ready for next, and at the same time, the creatures that are conniving are going to find themselves a little bit stronger as things go on.
Well, and before we see the backside of this card, which I guarantee you can guess what the name of it is, but this isn't the art section, I have to point out, I love this art. I love seeing the Green Goblin in Norman Osborn's reflection there as another aspect of his personality. And of course, it signals what the backside looks like. So let's take a look at Green Goblin.
Here is the Green Goblin. The time for planning is over. It is now time for chaos in the city, represented with the mayhem mechanic. So when the villains are out wreaking havoc on the city, we're representing that form of villainy with the mayhem mechanic, which is new for the Spider-Man set. It is another alternative way to play a card. Cards with the Mayhem ability, while they are in your graveyard, if you discarded them this turn, you may cast them for their Mayhem cost. So Green Goblin here is granting the Mayhem ability to all the cards in your graveyard. Other cards in the set just have the Mayhem ability themselves, and those will often have a lower mana cost on the actual cast cost to cast the card. So Green Goblin and Norman Osborn here is a really complete package. You can play the Norman Osborn half, get in a few times, connive, and then eventually you'll find a card you discarded that you actually want to cast, and after you attack that turn, you can transform to the Green Goblin, give that card you just discarded the Mayhem ability, and put it back into play. So just a very cool, was really awesome to see us find a way to tie both of the villain mechanics together on this card, and the whole package turned out awesome.
Well, yeah, I love the story it tells. It's Norman Osborn schemes and connives on one side, and then the Green Goblin takes advantage of the mayhem caused by it's absolutely perfect. I love it. All right, those are the mechanics we're talking about now, which means, Jadine, I'm going to swap you for Corey. Let's bring out Corey Bowen, everyone. Come on out, Corey. All right, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, Corey, you know the drill by now. Tell us a bit about yourself and your love of Spider-Man.
Great. Well, thanks for having me, Blake. I'm Corey Bowen. I'm the lead set designer on Magic the Gathering Marvel Spider-Man, and I'm so excited to be here. As for Spider-Man, my experience, I was only like 6 years old when the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie came out.
Which is how Corey makes me feel old, but
yes,
continue.
yes. But I just grew up with those Spider-Man movies, all of the Spider-Man movies, really shaped what I love about superheroes. And even when I was young, I remember going to Free Comic Book Day and walking back home with 3 different Spider-Man comics from different Spider-Man runs. Very, very cool.
Yeah. So, Corey, you're here because we're going to talk about a new draft format being introduced with this set called Pick 2 Draft. So give us the overview.
Right, so Pick 2 Draft is a brand new way that we have to draft. We announced it earlier this year. It's got 2 main differences from a normal, typical draft. The first difference is that you're taking 2 cards every pick. Draft é simples de evento, galera. Fluid, a little bit more speedy and casual. The second difference is you can only draft, or you get to only draft with 4 players instead of 8. So it's so much more accessible, so much easier to get a pot of 4 people together rather than a pot of 8 people together. And for Spider-Man, this is a set that's designed and optimized specifically to make that environment work with all of its little idiosyncrasies.
Okay, so like we all have yelled 7 in the queue before. That's now 3 in the queue. Little easier to get going.
Easier.
But let's talk about what that means for the archetypes. You said there's 5 archetypes. Let's go through each of them. I would like to start with green-white, please.
Sure. Well, green-white is an archetype where it's where you find all of your spider heroes within the Spider-Man universe. This is where the web-slinging mechanic really comes into play. This deck is all about using web-slinging, and you can play this deck powerful spider heroes. You can collect a bunch of spider heroes and play some cards that buff up all of the spiders. Or you can even assemble a strange combo deck that exists within this set where you're constantly getting value out of flipping your creatures back and forth from the battlefield in your hand.
Yeah.
And here we have City Pigeon. I was
going to say, you were talking like there wasn't a City Pigeon up on the screen that we all needed to discuss.
I mean, I said we have to show City Pigeon.
We have to show City Pigeon.
Like, this is a good example. Like, Spider-Man has a setting, right? You see him in all these spider stories in New York very often. And we wanted to bring the tone of the sets and bring it to a New York City setting with a whimsical tone with something like City Pigeon. I stand by that this card is one of the best commons in the set because it's so powerful as a pigeon. I mean, really, it's just a good enabler for web slinging. You can attack with this evasive creature. It gets tapped very easily, and very early on, you have something great to web sling back into your hand, and it makes a hot dog on the way out, which is perfect.
All right. We're not showing the food token today. We'll get to those.
A hot dog.
God, we got to give the people what we want. All right. Next up, though, we are going to talk about the white-blue archetype. What's going on with white-blue?
Right, so white-blue, you know, it uses the modified mechanic that Jadine talked about earlier. Again, a returning mechanic. This really is where all of the characters who are scientifically modified or are geniuses, or, you know, we have Spider piloted by Penny here. She has this mecha suit, and it's like this is an attacker that helps make her a super formidable superhero. And we have the Spider suit here as well. We had to make an equipment that was the Spider suit.
Yeah.
So, you know, the Spider suit, it's a great thing to equip onto your City Pigeon.
Absolutely. A City Pigeon with the Spider suit.
Yes. City Pigeon, underrated, very strong in this archetype as well. You gotta put everything on your City Pigeon and just start defeating opponents.
Absolutely. All right, new achievement that I need to unlock. All right, next up, let's talk about blue-black.
Yes.
Blue-black,
this is where the Rogues Gallery of Spider-Man's iconic cast of villains come into play.
Combinações, gente, por exemplo, tem essas duas cores. No deck que eu uso
behind the scenes, you're using
as duas cores, branco e vermelho.
Perfect hand to thwart Spider-Man. There's also a lot of villain matters in this archetype as well. You can see on this
prowler
here, when a villain enters, the prowler gets to connive. These cards work really well with some of the Mayhem cards you'll find in the set as well, because Connive and Mayhem just naturally work well together.
Right.
And Connive, you get to put counters on creatures to modified rewards as well. So everything works really well together. And that was a really important part about getting the Pick 2 draft format to be very smooth.
All right, next, let's go to
Dizer quando chegar na sala de jogos.
Right, so every Magic set needs a place to put its big stuff. And here we have Rhino as a huge 7-drop.
Vou mandar um e-mail para o Wizard para mandar lá para a
Spider-Rex
sala
from
de
one of the
jogos.
more recent
Daring
Spider-Verse
Dino.
series.
Yeah, and also, if you haven't been reading the flavor text along the way, this is a great place to remind you.
Caraca, esse
check out
bicho
the flavor
fodão,
text,
roubado, hein?
especially for Spider-Rex, but it's been fantastic in all
Right.
regards. Anyway, continue on.
This deck, it really wants to play large spells. It has a theme about caring about mana value 4 or
6,
greater.
7.
Okay. And with web
Depois vira
and
6/6.
Mayhem as cost reduction
Ao contrário, não
mechanics,
sei.
you're going to be able to cast spells with mana value 4 or greater without spending 4 mana turn to turn. So this deck really puts those things together and lets us put a dinosaur that's
6/6 vira
Spider-Man in the
6/7,
set, which is
yeah.
just awesome.
You got it.
Ou vice-versa.
All right, speaking of Mayhem, let's take a look at our last draft archetype, which is Black-Red.
Yes, this is
Preto e
again,
vermelho.
Mayhem. It's a very discard-focused archetype. There's so many awesome
5,
iterations
4.
of Green Goblin or Hobgoblin or different
Ele
goblins
entra
and
com
characters.
3/3
We
primeiro,
really
depois
wanted
ele
to show off more of the chaotic
lá na frente você pode
spells
botar
from
ele
Spider-Man, and we thought discarding cards
4.
and playing them from your graveyard felt very
Transformado.
resonant in that way.
Yeah.
So we used the Mayhem mechanic, a new mechanic that harkens back to an older Magic mechanic, Madness, but it's a lot easier to play with.
Lembrando,
Green
dia
Goblin,
14,
fantastic if you're discarding multiple cards in turn.
teremos
And
outro
Raging
evento,
Goblin is
mas
the perfect example
porque
of
vai
an
andar hoje
overclass
mesmo
creature that
também
you can get
para
out for
já
cheap if you have
no
a great way to
esquema.
discard cards.
Well, and earlier we showed the OG Green Goblin,
Yep.
Norman Osborn. Here we've got Harry. There
14.
is another Green
Vai dar para
Goblin
também
we want to
15.
show off at this point for a very specific reason. Let's put
Também
Ultimate Green
16
Goblin up
E
here.
17. Por que quero fazer isso?
Yeah, so this
Grava
is a promo. We're gonna talk
máximo
about
de
that in
episódios
a
de
moment.
campeonato de
But
eventos.
first, talk about this card in the Mayhem archetype.
Para
Yeah,
ficar
Ultimate Green Goblin. This is a Green
Porque
Goblin
ele-
from the Ultimate
o
Universe, where
117,
he is a big
depois
hulking
gravo.
goblin. This
Amanhã
is
na
one
hora
of
que eu
our
voltar,
favorite Mayhem cards in this set. It's a very powerful
18,
Mayhem card. It's
19
also a
e
hybrid
20.
rare, which will be in this set as well. We're kind of using
Eles vão estar
hybrid
só
at all
6 dias para mim gravar
rarities,
depois.
to really help
É.
that pick 2 draft format. But
Aí
this
eu
card's
gravo
great.
mais
It's an
6,
overclass creature. It lets you discard
mais
a card
7
every
para ficar no
turn
esquema.
to make a treasure, but this also lets you achieve your Mayhem turn for turn. And if you already
Ah,
have a
bom da
Mayhem
PAC
engine, you
West,
could cast this for Mayhem
da-
and get some
da-
card advantage.
desse
So
evento
we've had a lot of
da
fun playing this card, and we hope everyone else enjoys it too.
PAX
Yeah.
West.
And we're going to show the main set
E o
version
bom
of
dela
this
é
one
que eu
later, but
consegui-
this
consegui-
promo specifically is going to
consegui
be
botar todos os
available
eventos,
at an event
cobrindo
called
todos
Magic
os dias.
Presents Friendly Neighborhood Draft. That's going to be taking place at your local WPN stores September 26th through November 13th, so check with them when they're running it.
Oh.
It's going to be the first official opportunity to play the Pick 2 draft format in stores. All you have to do to get this card is go undefeated at one of those events. That's all. Just don't lose ever.
Pick the pigeon.
You do pick the pigeon.
Tem que ir
You
numa
will then
loja
receive
local
a
no
traditional
seu
foil
país,
of
seu
this
estado.
Ultimate Green Goblin promo card. Well,
Jogar eu ganho com essa
supplies
ganhar essa
last.
carta
All
aí.
right.
Não pode perder
Thank you,
nenhuma.
Corey. I'm going to send you on your way again. We're going to bring back out Mark Rosewater again, but we are also going to bring out Sarah Wassel. Come on out. All right.
Meu
Mark,
Deus.
welcome back.
Vamos ver.
Sarah, welcome. Mark, we've already heard from you. Good. But Sarah, why don't you introduce yourself as well?
Cool. Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Wassel. I'm a senior art director at Magic. I work primarily on the collectability team. So we riff and improvise and make alternate versions of the main set cards, the looking ones.
Yes.
We don't change any other stuff. I'm really excited to be here to talk about Marvel, to talk about Spider-Man. I love comic book art. I love how accessible it's been. I love any kind of art that people can get in their hands right away. And this set in particular, we have some vintage stuff in the set, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah, this set is really exciting for comic book fans. So we're also going to talk in this section about reprints, about the bonus sheet specifically. So Mark, what's going on with the bonus sheet in this set?
Que já
Okay,
tiveram
so
na
one of the things
edição
that
do
Magic has always done is we have
anteriores.
really amazing art. From the very beginning, we've really valued being
Então,
the
eu falo
forefront
de
of
casas
amazing
que
art.
foram
But
refeitas.
one of the things about partnering with people is Marvel is also known for having really amazing art. And so how could we get the amazing Marvel art that people love onto Magic cards? And so the idea is we have a bonus sheet where we took famous reprints and put Marvel art on them, original Marvel art. When I say original, I mean from the comics.
Yeah. So we have 7 cards we're going to show you in this section. They're all reprints, all in the bonus sheet, all with this fantastic art. We're going to play a little game, a little audience participation here. We're going to put up the art first. Sarah's going to talk a little bit about it, and then I want to hear some guesses for what card you think it is. So let's put our first image up on the screen. Sarah, tell us about this.
So this is a big deal. This is the first time that Spider-Man showed up as a character in comic books. This was Amazing Fantasy number 15 in 1962. So this was the cover that's introducing Spider-Man.
1962.
From the interior of the book the character was designed by Steve Ditko, who's like a giant of the industry, but the cover was actually penciled by Jack Kirby.
Yeah, like we're going to have an artist line that says Ditko and Kirby, which is just insane.
On a magic card.
On a magic
hold
card.
in your hand. Yeah.
All right, it may take you a couple to get into this, but let's hear some guesses. What do we think this card is? I heard it over here. All right, let's see it. Put it up on the screen.
Ooh.
Yeah, one of the things I want to point out, so this very first comic, one of the things Stan Lee did when he made Spider-Man was at the time, superheroes were kind of larger than life. And the idea was making a superhero that was like an everyday guy. Like he had trouble paying the rent or getting dates. Like, and that really
Estamos haciendo una brincadeira mostrando umas cartas ao contrário.
And the idea of making like relatable superheroes, this was the real start of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, let's put our next piece of art up on the screen.
Okay, I hope you can guess this. This is one of my favorite pairings with the card title. It's emotionally very devastating. So this was from 1967, so we're moving forward in time a little bit. So at this point now the comic book is called Amazing Spider-Man. We went from not having, from the character being started to now having his own book name. And at this point he's being drawn by John Romita Sr., who was the second in line of Spider-Man artists.
Oh, wow.
One of the cool things about Romita Sr. is that he had kind of a background in romance comics. So he was really good in particular at making the female characters in the Spider-Man universe really like attractive and stylish and beautiful and compelling. So he really like amped up that part of the story a lot.
All right, let's hear some guesses for this one.
I heard it.
You heard it?
I heard it.
Okay, let's throw up Path to Exile. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is from a run called Spider-Man No More, where Peter Parker, it gets to him. There's so much, like, it's so hard being Spider-Man that he walks away from being Spider-Man. To exile, I guess. It's a path to exile.
Então é o passado.
All right, this next one, I'm going to be really impressed if anyone guesses it. It's fantastic, but it's a little bit more obscure than Path to Exile.
Yeah,
let's hear from this one.
Lembrando.
Okay, so this is going to be a tough one, you're right.
Assim que terminar
This is from
Show.
Amazing Spider-Man number 55 in 1967. That's John Romita Sr. again.
Vai ver a edição do Magic inteira no canal.
I have always loved Doc Ock's original
Deve estar
haircut.
tudo gravado
I
já.
know that bowl cut was like, I think for people in the 60s, they would have been like, oh, he's a nerd, right? Like that was
Vai
like
ser
a
complicado, mas
visual
vou
indication of that.
organizar para
But this is
gravar
such a great,
em
like, super,
simultâneo
super
com a Top Game
close-up
Show.
dynamic shot of Doc Ock.
All right, I want to hear some guesses on this one.
Claro,
Don't think
os
I
dois
heard
primeiros
it. So let's
vídeos,
see.
23 e 24,
Lorthos the Tidemaker, also known as Doc
e
Ock,
25
armed
ele vai estar gravando
and
os
dangerous.
3 primeiros
So
dias
one of
da
the things
edição.
that we talked about this at San Diego Comic-Con, we're very careful when we choose creature types. So Dr. Octopus is not actually an octopus, so we did not make him creature type octopus. But we couldn't pass the opportunity to make an octopus that is Dr. Octopus.
Yeah.
All right, for this next one, which is going to be a layup, guys.
Mas
We're
eu
going to
gostava
keep
que
the
a
John Romita
edição vai
Sr.
chegar na
train
primeira semana de
going
outubro.
with this piece of art.
Right? This one's got to be.
All right.
Everyone's got to be.
Tell us about this one, Sarah.
Well, I do know that that's not electricity.
Yes, it's not electricity.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But what's this guy's name, Mark? You want to give them a hint?
Well, his name is the Shocker.
Doc, there you go. All right. Yeah, every game has a free space.
When we first started working on Spider-Man, there were a couple like low-hanging things. One was, okay, you got to make a J. Jonah Jameson that references Menace, and the other one was we have to have a Shocker with Shock.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
Meu Deus,
Next up,
cada feia.
this is one of my favorite pieces in the set. I know I say that a lot, but this one hits hard, it resonates, it really feels good on the card.
Os brindes que eu vi durante o próprio Magic, provavelmente.
Tell us about this one, Sarah.
Catafoil.
So cool.
Spoiler alert.
So at this point, I think we're in the dark ages of comics. This is penciled by Mike Zeck and colored by Bob McLeod. And the book is Web of Spider-Man 32. And yeah, somebody already called it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Reanimate. It's, yeah.
But the rules text basically reads like a description of the art. It's incredible.
So this is from a storyline called Kraven's Last Hunt, where Kraven buries Spider-Man, and spoiler, he's not dead. But anyway, this is a really famous shot. So the fact that we got to use this on Reanimated.
Yep. No, it's perfect. All right.
Exciting.
Next up, let's see. This was what? This was Kraven's Last Hunt. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, San Diego Comic-Con. So one of the things we did was we made a cycle of sagas. And that one of the sagas, which we showed at San Diego Comic-Con, was Kraven's Last Hunt. And the idea is there's so many great storylines. Sagas represent stories. And that just seemed like the perfect marriage.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the thing next to it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's we also knew from really early on working on this set, we have really like baby brainstorms at the very, very, very beginning, years ago at this point. And we knew as a studio that we really wanted to try to figure out how to make Magic cards look like comic book pages. Yeah. And sagas were like this perfect marriage of like giving us that graphic opportunity. But as simple as this looks and as well as it's working, it did actually take a lot of work to kind of like tinker with it to get it to come out well. And the artists that we worked with here, Laniel Francis Yu and Sunny Go, both work for Marvel, have been for a long time, and they're just so good at using color and shadow to really like delineate those spaces really clearly.
And each comic panel represents a different part of the story. It's very cool.
Yes. And we'll have another saga we're going to show off later.
Yeah.
All right, we've got 2 more of these left in our little game. Let's throw, in my unit, this was like the comic book art. Yeah. So tell us about this one.
Yeah, so this is Todd McFarlane drawing Spider-Man. And this was like a big moment in the character's design and the design of the webbing even. So Todd McFarlane, he kind of took like a little bit from Steve Ditko from the beginning, where he really like used Spidey's body in really like arachnid kind of ways and really like emphasized that strange physiognomy.
Os jogos da Plus desse mês foram liberados.
He also made the eyes really, really big, and that webbing design in particular is something
Não
that's
vou
really
trazer aqui no canal porque
all right, let's hear guesses on this one.
É complicado.
Yes! There you go. Nice. That is impressive.
One of the things we were trying to do is cover a lot of different eras. This is a really fun era of Spider-Man where they get into like the mythos of what it means, the spider totem, and like, was the spider an accident or was it always destined to bite him? And so this is a really fun storyline.
Yeah. All right, for our final one, we're actually moving forward in time quite a bit to something a little bit more recent. So let's throw the next piece of art up there.
Yeah. One of my favorite character designs of all time. Venom is just the combination of like total gnarly fear and absolute glee.
Essa mulher é corajosa, hein? Gosta dos vilões.
Constantly like exudes. It's just like it just keeps like it's like a pinball game in my brain. But this one was 2021. Ryan Stegman was the artist here, and J.P. Meyer, and then Frank Martin did the colors. And what could it be?
What do we think this one is?
He has wings.
Ooh.
I don't think I've heard it, but let's throw it up there. Skithiryx, also known as Venom King in Black.
Yeah, the idea of making a venomous Venom seems too cool to pass up on. So.
All right, now these are the only one. This is the last one we've shown for today, but Sarah, there are going to be more classic comic book artists included in this.
Yeah,
correct?
there are more of these, and we have names on Magic
vai ter mais quadrinhos
art, like Mark Bagley,
dentro do Magic Arena
Sarah Pichelli. There's just like chock-full of these amazing pieces in the set.
If you are a fan of Spider-Man artists, like we've got them in spades. All right. Okay, so people are going to want those bonus cards for sure, but we have a range of collectible and cool designs that we've done to
Os pessoas que
create
estiveram lá
really
ganharam
cool
umas
cards.
cartas
Why don't
presente.
you walk us through kind of the new and shiny here?
Sure, yeah. Okay, so we are going to start by looking at one of the most powerful objects in this universe.
1 of 6.
Olha só.
The Soul Stone. So you have 3 beautiful versions to pick from. I'm sure
Três
you saw all 3 of
versões.
them. The one on the far left is painted by Vulcan Baga, and he mimicked his his original like Mox compositions, right? So we're really like Magic and Marvel like together, chocolate and peanut butter in a beautiful way. The in-betweener is the one holding that Soul Stone.
Três cartas.
Super sweet color block.
A do meio é foil.
And then in the middle we have our Gauntlet version. So you get Thanos, you get comic style, you get that sweet Marvel art.
Que é modo...
And then on the far right, the most rare, the most precious. This is the Soul Stone, like in the cosmos, and that card has been tricked out with so many print techniques and fancy things that it will feel just as precious.
Yeah,
as
this doesn't do it justice. Yeah. So if you're familiar with our headliner program, this is the headliner for this set. This is the only Infinity Stone in this set.
Lança no dia 23 de setembro, essa edição no Arena.
Before we're done, we will do all the Infinity Stones.
What else do we have, Sarah?
Okay, so another thing that we've done with original comic art, in addition to the bonus sheet examples that you were seeing, is that we are doing classic cover cards where we're taking an original comic book cover and we are turning it into a Magic card.
Yeah.
So on the front side of the card, you've got Peter Parker and Eddie Brock, and that's Peter Parker, the first time that he was ever bit by a Spider-Man ever in any universe. That's the art from that moment. He is a teenager at this time in his like depiction, which I find fascinating. This is what a teenager looked like. But then so we've taken the actual comic books with their original wording and everything, but we've replaced the text with Magic rules text. So you get a miniature comic book cover to put in your deck. It's really cool.
All right, let's see the next one, the web frame.
Yeah, so here's a custom frame that we designed for this set. This is the web frame, and our in-house designer, Dalton Pencarina, really based the webbing on the frame on Todd McFarlane's design. Really detailed and really like gnarly. We really envisioned this like as if the Magic frame is like attaching to it and swinging along. I wanted to call it the sticky frame, but no one.
Marketing overruled her. Yeah, that's a different department.
Yeah.
Okay, what else do we have, Sarah?
So then we have some showcase panel frames. So these are related to that saga we saw before. This was another thing we knew from the beginning that we really wanted to do, was try to show comic grids on Magic cards as Magic art. Comic grids are such an important part of storytelling, both utilizing them and obviously breaking them, right? Those are the exciting moments when the characters like pop out and go over those lines. So again, we were really lucky to work with a lot of current Marvel artists who are experts with this stuff. And so these are just, 4 examples. I'm a big fan of that Venom half face, half.
Temos outro evento aqui, mas eu vou mostrar.
All right, I got another pop quiz for the audience before we move on to the next card. So we said we were going to reveal another saga. If you're a Spider-Man fan and you hear the word saga, where does your mind go? Like in unison. Perfect. All right, let's see the Clone Saga.
Yeah, so here's the main set version. We saw Bill Sienkiewicz's art on the Kraven Last Hunt saga as well. Bill Sienkiewicz was a really important artist in the 1980s in comic books. He was one of the first people in the mainstream comic world to use collage and mimeograph and photorealism and really like play with the art style in a way that nobody had really done before. And he also illustrated Magic cards like way back in the beginning.
In antiquity, in Alliances.
Yeah, so it's really exciting to get him back in for this set. Like another one of those perfect moments of things kind of all coming together.
And we have showcase panel versions of this as well.
So in the main picture, the bad guy is cloned Spider-Man. The Jackal is cloned Spider-Man. And this is one of my all-time favorite moments in Spider-Man, where we're following Peter Parker as he's trying to figure out all the clones. And then we realize that he is a clone. It was a very
Vai ter vários
Spider-Man figures. That's
clones.
one of my favorite moments. And we did know,
Só
by
vai
the way,
usar
when we
muita
started
carta de
making
fazer
this set, and we
clones.
decided to do sagas. It was a given that we were
Ilusões.
doing the clone saga because there was no way in the world we're doing saga.
Vai ser chato isso,
How could we
hein?
let you all down? You all knew we had to do it.
People have bugged me about this online. Like, you better be doing the clone saga.
We did.
Meu
we did.
Deus amado Senhor.
Another thing we did in the collectability space is, of course, this is the Spider-Man set. We had to focus on Spider-Man.
Faltam 10 minutos aqui ainda para terminar.
Let's start showing this video that runs through. Okay, we've got Spectacular Spider-Man in the black suit, and then
this whole idea gave us a couple of fun things to do. One was use a bunch of Spider-Mans that weren't in the set.
Yep.
Meu Deus,
And
que
another
carta
is to
feia.
make
And
like,
some of which are on the set.
and some of which are in the set.
Eu
And to
estilo
also riff on the idea
estilo
of like
mangá.
variant
Essa eu
covers
não
that
gosto.
comic books do that people get really excited
Eu
about,
quero
right? So there's
colorida. Essa aqui.
different.
Yep. We're going to come back to
No,
each
no.
one of
Yeah,
these.
there's,
Essa
so there's 8
versão-
different versions of these. They're all drawn by the same artist, Roberta Ingranata, who totally like knocked it out of the park.
Uma das cartas é bonita, mas
All right.
algumas outras
Well,
são
let's
feias.
go through these one by one. So let's move to the Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yeah, so as I was saying, Roberta really understood what we were looking for here because the pose is really
Roberto.
important. Knowing we were going to riff it 8 times, we needed the logo on the costume to be really, really visible because they changed from suit to suit. We needed the webbing to be visible, and then we had the same background and the same setting for each card. But the art director working on this project, Aliana Rude, had this amazing idea to change the time of day and the time of year for the background so that the colors could shift card to card even just a little bit more and really
Dependendo.
like set off the suit colors on each variant.
Yeah, we're going to see that as we go through, including on our next one, which, Mark, I know is one
Também
of
entendi
your
muito bem.
favorites, which
Yes,
is
yes. I
Essa
think
foi
this
mais
is one of
feia
my
que a
favorites.
anterior.
One of the things that's real fun as a Spider-Man fan is
A
just,
primeira
there's so
gostei.
many great moments. So, Secret
A
Wars
segunda
was
é
an event
feia.
that happened many years ago.
Versão.
This character called the Beyonder took a whole bunch of heroes and villains and took them to fight each other. But while they were there, Spider-Man got this black suit. And then for quite a while, he wore the black suit, and then something was weird going on, so he decided to go get it checked out by Reed Richards. And then Reed Richards like, it's alive. And I remember that just blew my mind. So the suit would turn into Venom. That's where Venom came from, that he was alive. And the fact that Spider-Man rejected him is what made Venom now got angry at Spider-Man. So.
Yeah. All right, next up we have Spider Armor Mark 1.
Essa também tá feia,
the
carta
disco
feia.
suit. In springtime, I love the juxtaposition of the delicate flower petals with the shiny
Mas
bulletproof.
colorido. Aquilo
Next
assim
up,
eu
a
não
personal
gosto.
favorite of mine is the Stealth Suit.
Yeah, this is a really cool
Outra
one.
também
This
feia
one's
também.
at night, right? Which is a great way to, if night is in New York City.
É
which is
meu
a great
gosto, né, também, né?
time in New York still. It's a great way to set off the colors of that black suit.
Nath.
And then we have the Sensational Suit.
Saúde, Nath, saúde.
Clone Ben Riley, looking
Esse
very,
aí.
very cool.
Essa
That
tá
Spidey logo going all
mais
the
ou
way down.
menos.
And the half-color boots, big fan of that.
And then we start getting a little weird
Quer
with
mandar
the
primeira.
6 arms.
Right? The grossest one of the set, clearly.
Don't take random serums. That's
He should have known that by now.
Mark, these last two, I'm going to let you take these last two.
Sure. So apparently all my stories involve the Fantastic Four. So there's a period in time where
Mas
Johnny
vermelho
Storm died, although, spoilers, he didn't. But Spider-Man joined the Fantastic Four. And while he was in the Fantastic
sei
Four,
vocês.
they made a special suit called the Future Foundation suit, which was his white suit, which I always really liked, and it matched the
mas eles também
white
vendem
suits as well. But anyway,
carta
I've always liked this suit. It's one of my
diferentes
favorite suits.
lojas também físicas,
And then-
muito
the
cara
audience's
algumas cartas. Hein?
So after they find out that his suit is Venom, he can't wear
Vou
it.
falar em
it's
dólares,
Venom,
hein? Tem carta
and
que
so
vale
he
10
has to
dólares, tem
borrow
carta que
stuff
vale
from
20 dólares, tem
Fantastic
carta que
Four
vale
to get home, and he puts a bag
30,
on his head.
carta que vale
They refer to this as
40,
the bombastic bagman suit. And
carta
so,
que vale
anyway,
50.
it's fun. How do we not do the bombastic bagman?
It's also the most unrealistic one because his
Carta
feet
que
are
vale
bare and
60,
clean, which is
70,
impossible. If he's running around the
80,
rooftops in New York City,
90,
that's not.
100.
We
Mas
also
são as mais
maybe you like
baratas.
this one.
Depois vem
And
de
so
150
while
para
we're
cima.
talking about collectability,
Já vem
we've
as
got something here that
carinhosas.
I'm really excited about. Let's put this up on the screen. We've got a comic to give away with an exclusive cover
quadrinho,
featuring
para dar.
Batman. Mark, how do people get this comic?
There are two ways to get this.
Again.
The first is you can go to our booth,
Yep.
and while supplies last, You can get one at the Wizard of the Coast booth in the Arch.
Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Saturday,
not
Sunday,
not
Monday.
today. Yep.
And also, while you're there, you can get a
welcome deck.
A welcome deck for Spider-Man. The second way to get it is, of course, to be right here.
Que pena que não dá para me estar lá
When
ainda.
you leave, there's both the card and the comic. So.
Absolutely. We're glad you're here. All right, so let's hear a little bit. Who is excited for this set from what they've seen so far?
Não há carta se ganhar.
Okay. So, we're going to tell you how to enjoy it. We're going to tell you when to enjoy it. So, we're going to throw some dates up on the screen. Mark your calendars. The Magic the Gathering Marvel Spider-Man debut it's today. It's right now. You're here. You're watching it. That's this thing. Previews start next week. We're going to do them all week. We're going to have the full card image gallery. That's going to be the full set. Is going to be revealed on dailymtg.com again throughout the week and on September 5th. Previews are going to be available around the internet at news outlets with your favorite creators. There's an article called Where to Find Marvel's Spider-Man Previews on dailymtg.com. That'll let you know where all of those are going to show up. Or you can just wait till the 5th and take in the whole thing. Next, we have a slew of cool events. First up, so at your local WPN game store, pre-release events are going to be taking place September 19th through 25th. And if
Nas
you
lojas,
happen to
setembro
live
19
near
para
a
frente.
Disney store retail location in Times Square, London, Disney World, Florida, or Disneyland, California, or if you want to make a trip, there's going to be a special launch event at those locations.
Orlando, na Disney e na Califórnia, na Disney também vai
very
estar.
cool, something we've never done
Eu
before.
quero
We're really
ir,
excited
mas
for
não
those.
tenho dinheiro.
And then the global release, everywhere you can buy Magic, you're going to be able to pick up this set on September 26th. But it doesn't end there, because we are celebrating this set with a number of events. So Magic Academy, for those who don't know, is a great way to learn how to play Magic. So if you're one of those folks in the audience or watching at home who's really, who loves Spider-Man, huge fan of Spider-Man, who's never tried Magic before, check with the local game store. When they are running these Academy events, they're going to be taking place September 26th through November 13th. Great way to learn.
E se querem aprender elemento, eu podemos ensinar, hein?
Yeah, I'm going to be there. We're going to be there. We're all going to be there. September 26th through 28th. If you've never been to a Magic Con, they're amazing. It's people playing Magic everywhere, and Marvel Spider-Man is going to be all over that convention. If you're looking to play in a standard event, we have 2 spotlights, Magic Spotlights. So these are large, in this case, standard tournaments. They're taking place in Baltimore and Liverpool, October 24th through 26th for Baltimore, and October 31st through November 2nd in Liverpool. And finally, intended a little bit, Spider-Man The Final Battle, happening November 1st through 9th, is a new event. So this is for aimed at our competitive players. These are running November 1 through 9 in WPN store, so check with your local game store. It's going to be a standard constructed event, and it's going to have the winner of the event is going to receive a special variant cover copy of the Amazing Spider-Man *1, 2025. And we're going to reveal what that cover, what that
no
comic
Magic
looks
Arena,
like.
galera, vai ter evento que você vai ganhar a caixa,
titled Where to Play Marvel
que vale mais de $2.000.
It's going to show off what that comic looks like, but look for The Final Battle at a local game store near you. We're almost done, but I didn't say we were done with reveals, because we're not. We've got a secret to share with you, a secret layer. We use that all the time, but we're going to keep using it.
Yeah.
So let's take a look. And Sarah, why don't you tell us what we are looking at here?
So this is the only place we did this in the set.
Not in the set.
Well, in the secret.
In the secret layer.
In the secret layer, yeah, that's what I mean. We made a series of cards that look like front covers of the Daily Bugle, which I love when we do this, when we try to make a Magic card look like something else. The trompe l'oeil of it is so much fun. So each card, the headline is the title of the card, and there's all these like fun little like Easter eggs all over the place of like different text, as well as the type line gets moved around to like, you know, mimic like supporting headlines and stuff. And yeah, we're really super psyched about these. Another thing that happened though is when we made these, we realized that throughout Marvel's history, the Daily Bugle has looked different the newspaper itself has looked different based on which artist was drawing it. And we realized even within the Magic set, we had it looking different. So once we created this set, we kind of retconned our own art to make it all look like this. So there was
Oh, so in the main set, when you see the Daily Bugle in art, it's going to look like that. Very cool.
Yeah.
Não,
yeah.
Os preços que eu falei das cartas, galera,
foil or
dos
in
pacotes,
non-foil, and
é
they
em
are available
físico,
as part of the
ok?
Marvel Spider-Man Super Drop.
Yeah, so there are going to be more drops in that Super
No
Drop.
Arena,
If you want to know
mais cedo na
details
transmissão,
about this one, about that entire Super Drop, head to
ali está o preço que vocês viram ali com o
and
preço da
make
edição
sure you
inteira.
sign up for notifications. All right, that is it. That is all the reveals we have. So thank you, friends, for joining us today. You've been a fantastic audience. Really appreciate you all. Thank you for being part of this journey. Thank you to Mark and Sarah, and back behind the curtain to Corey and Jadine. I've been your host, Blake Rasmussen. Make sure on your way out, get your comic, get your promo card. You deserve it for being an amazing audience. Thank you. Have an amazing, spectacular, and sensational day. There we go. Thank you.
Ok, vamos lá.
Saindo
Volta
da
aqui,
tela,
volta aqui, porque...
atualizar, voltar, voltando, avançar, pressione
Voltar,
para avançar, voltar, pressione para voltar, Alt mais seta para a esquerda, ou abra o menu
todos
de
vocês por me
contexto
acompanharem
para ver o histórico.
Nesse evento de hoje.
Principal
do MTG Arena.
Entrando em tela.
Agradecer a todos por me acompanhar. A meu amor, Maria Natália Gavilotti, por estar me acompanhando nessa live de hoje. Nesse amor. Podes mutear, chula. Ok. A todos por me acompanharem. Fizemos uma pré-ordem da edição. Agradecer a todos por me acompanhar a minha ela nessa live de hoje. Em breve vai sair o tutorial de como jogar Magic. Comigo o elemento vai ser mais barato. Inclusive ensinei a Nath, mas a Nath não consigo jogar ainda. Jogando por aqui então. A Nath já está ocupadinha. Beijo para todo mundo. Vou ficando por aqui. Valeu, falou. E eu fui. Até o próximo vídeo.
Iniciar janela. Recomendado. OBS Studio. Já recomendo adicionar. Interromper transmissão.